The first thing is that everything that we wonder about and consider about at this level of consciousness is or should be a reminder to us that we simply need to wake up, and that's irrelevant to us. Everything that we have a question or concern about, instead of being something that we own as who we are, let that just be a recognition that you've gone to sleep and that it's time to wake up. Wake up to the point where you don't have the questions about your purpose or your identity or truth or what's real or not. So in taking a look at that, we have to see how completely we are asleep in almost every area. And we don't have to feel bad about that. We don't have to judge ourselves for that. But if that's the case, and it is for me, then I have to see that for what it is, acknowledge it, own the fact that it was my choices that brought that into my experience here, and then I have to choose to end it. And I have to choose to let that go, and to let the answers come in. And the answers don't come from the level of confusion that you're at. If you want the answer to actually change you or benefit you or shift your reality, you have to let go of what you think is right and what you think is real for something that's more right and more real, but you don't know exactly what it is. You just know that in order to take the next step in your evolution, you have to leave the one that you're on behind. Now, that doesn't mean that you abandon the reality and the connections that you have, even though that may happen, but you don't have to. You can awaken into the you that you could have been if you'd have made all the right choices in life and ended up where you were anyway. But you'd have a completely different attitude about everything. So from the moment you take that new consciousness into your current circumstances, you start moving to solve all of the issues and the problems that you've caused, and your life immediately begins to get better. So that's the intention. The intention is to not fill ourselves with knowledge that we don't know whether it's real or true or not, but it's to notice where we are, notice where we could be, and make a choice to move from where we've been to a greater realized potential than we've done before. And so we don't have to condemn ourselves or congratulate ourselves on any part of our past, because no matter how good you were, no matter how bad you were, none of it is relevant. Anything that you consider from that level of consciousness that you were at as being binding upon a higher level of consciousness just means that you're going to stay stuck where you are. So you have to let it go, because it truly is irrelevant. If you're going to open up as a greater truth, one that is self-realized, one that is actualized, one that has become what it wished it could be, and explored the potentials that exist for human consciousness for yourself, then you have to allow yourself to be changed, to be acted upon, for the body and the mind to be in a state of transformation, which means change happening so quickly that you don't know what to do about it. You keep thinking you should try to control it or direct it, but you don't, because if you do, then you just stop and stay in a new stuck position that you think is your reality, and it's not. It's a transitional phase, and that's why those other things that you were talking about tonight in terms of political things that are going on are completely irrelevant to me. As much as I would like to say I'm on the side of right, I'm on the side of freedom, neither side understands the other. Each side thinks the other side is evil and wrong, and to a large degree they're both right. But they're completely wrong in their own about their own rightness, and they're halfway wrong about the other person's wrongness, if that makes any sense. The other person who's opposed to you is right about so many things. They have a valid point of view based upon who you've identified as and who you've been and how you've interacted with reality. Then your enemies have reasonable cause for the opinions that they have of you. So you got to give them a break and say, you know what? They're half right. They don't or won't look to see what might be good or right about me, but they can certainly see enough to complain with pretty good accuracy a lot of things that are wrong about me. So from that point of view, your enemies are a blessing, because if you're able to pick up from them what it is that makes this reality stand against you and against your wishes and desires, then that's a valuable thing. Because, does anyone truly need enemies? Does anyone need to create opponents? Does anyone need to fight with somebody at a level of consciousness that would be a condemnation to you both? Or instead, wouldn't it be easier or better or funner to look at your enemy and bless him to his self-realization of his own infinite magnificence, the one where he awakens so much that he's so in love with reality as it is, that he's so at one with the universe that he can't be an enemy to anyone or anything. That's how you handle enemies. You bless them with an irresistible blessing for their own self-understanding and awakening, their own noticing that the divine is within them and moves freely because they let it. And as you allow the divine to move you and move through you freely, you begin to notice that there's no difference between the divine and that which is eternal about yourself. And you begin to awaken to an experience of your own truth, an experience of a truth of yourself that actually sets you free. You don't know how to do it, but you can let it happen if you will. And it's difficult to let it happen. It's truly nearly an impossible feat to surrender to the divine. It's just too much to ask of someone. To give up all control, to give up all desires, all direction, for something that, we hear is great. We have had some experiences where we know it really is great, but we're fallen again. It's difficult to choose for better when you're so lost. If you're lost, then you must deserve to be lost. It must be right to be lost. It must be beneficial for you to be lost. There must be lessons there in that lostness for you to learn and become more. No, that'll just leave you stuck there forever until you notice that none of that's real and true. It's all manufactured. It's all a pretense. It's all, just so much baloney when you look instead at what could have been for you in each of those situations. How reality would have reacted and danced with you if you would have been here as your self being set free. So what do you say? Are you willing to let it happen? Try your best to say yes. And in each try, allow a shift to happen. Allow it to happen to the greatest degree that you can in each of these moments. Feel the trauma, feel the pain, feel the solidity, and let it go anyway. No matter how much you deserve it, no matter how much you deserve to be punished, you're being freed. Why? You don't know. But then you do know, but you don't know, and you do know, and you don't, but you do. You're being freed because you choose to be. Because the nature of your consciousness is such that you can shift it once you've made a choice where you know you're going to stick to it, that you know that it's what you actually want. When you decide to go home, when you decide to become real again, realized, a higher consciousness realized, made real in the body, when you decide that that's the experience that you're going to have now, not some other time, but now, then it begins to happen to you, and your life becomes one of transformation, because you're always allowing the realization to occur right now. And then it just keeps getting better and better. No matter how bad it is from where you start, it gets better immediately. Not all the way better, but incrementally better, and I haven't figured out enough to know how to do things other than incremental steps on the stairway to self-realization and freedom. But that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing together. That's what we're sharing with each other. And that's what I'm verbalizing so that we can both consider it. Do we surrender? Do we keep surrendering? Do we surrender in this moment? Do we open in this moment enough for that choice to surrender, to self-realize a higher state of consciousness within the experience of each of ourselves? It can be quite a shock to your system to awaken, in your darkest nature, but if you don't awaken there, then where do you really awaken? You're slingshotted back and forth between heaven and hell. What's the point of that? Just admit that you're both and experience them both at the same time. And when you experience heaven and hell in the same space in the same time, then what happens is hell actually is connected with heaven. And in that connection, it finds a feeling within itself that, oh my God, I've come home. Hell goes, oh my God, I've come home, when it connects with heaven, see? Now that's a metaphor, but we're in a reality that's a paradox. We're in a reality that's polarized and everything opposed to everything else. And so through that, minefield that we've created for ourselves, we've walked the pathway of freedom. And sometimes we choose a straight, direct path of freedom, and sometimes we choose a winding one. We take the long road. We take the one that has lots of ups and downs, lots of experiences where, we're here as something that is very, very, very temporary and is always in transition from one stuck state of consciousness that seems to be constant to the next one. And most of the time it's in a downward spiral. So, you're here to choose better than that now. You choose to end the whole cycle, the whole process, the whole paradox, the whole polarity, the whole reason for being opposed. Allow yourself to be unopposed, because your reality is so imposing, not so imposing, so magnificent, that you can't help but be that radiating invitation to choose a quantum leap better, for each one of us to choose that. when you're here is the truth of you. So we're not supposed to be here trying to figure our way out. We're not supposed to be here trying to figure our way through. We're not supposed to be here trying to figure anything. We're here to experience our divine nature and then to move through here clearly as that, cleanly as that, and effectively, and in a manner that is a pleasure to everybody. So let that happen to you. Allow yourself to be acted upon by the eternal, by the divine, by the infinite. Allow yourself to be reformed, to be restored, to be put back together again, to be found. Allow yourself to be found. Like in a foundry, being poured into a new you, the new you that you actually came here to be, to manifest, and to be one that shows the way, that shines the light, that gives the gift of freedom to everyone around him. That's what I think about what you chose. What do you think? It's what I have to choose to move from where I am. Let's just say that. And you rightly pointed that out, This is the time, each time I do these, for me to choose to move beyond where I've been and open into more. I'm pretty slow at doing that, it seems, but each time, it gets better. And so in each moment of life, allow it to get better for you. Now, and now, a continuation of a better and better experience. Better now than a moment ago. And so it's a transformation into possibilities, into expansion. It's an expansion of experience, not a contraction. And the first thing you do is you experience everything that you were and everything that happened to you that you shut yourself off from and pretend it didn't exist and let it fester underneath your conscious level of awareness. So we have to dive down into that never land of not confronting what we've done, who we've been, what we are. Taking responsibility for it. Experiencing it, exploring it, getting to know it again. Right now. And as we truly make that effort, have that experience, begin to experience that feeling of being saved from being trapped into being free. So as we sit here in silence, you just feel yourself, feel what's going on in your body. And at the same time you're feeling it, accepting it, taking it in and taking it on, you're letting it go instantly. As soon as you connect with it and experience it and understand it, know it, then you let it go. You don't hold on to it trying to figure it out beyond your knowing enough about what it is for you to have mastered it. Once you've mastered it, you move on. The purpose of mastery is to expand to the next level, to be able to move beyond where you've been and who you've been, many times in where you are. Then have a new beginning, a reinvention of yourself. And it can happen for you. All you have to do is do the impossible. Let it happen. It's impossible to let it happen, but it's as simple as that. You can confront by feeling everything within your own body. There's a universe of experience there. And just allow it all to communicate with you. Allow it all to be known. Allow it all to be seen and felt and heard. Then you just let it continue flowing right on out. It's like you unplugged, it's like you dove into a pool and then pulled the plug. You know, you dove in, you understood what it is and why it is, and enjoyed it. And then as soon as you got a good picture of it, you pull the plug because you don't want to go swimming, you want to go flying. Then you make your transition and fly instead of dive, you know. They're both okay, but you know, you made a new choice. Now, sometimes it takes some silence and some focus, you know, as you open. You know, you have to put your concentration there. Are you coming in? Guess not. If I have to focus right here on this stuff and what's going on in my environment, then, you know, I can't explore what's more interesting to me. So I take a minute and I reconnect with where I'm most lost, where I'm most dense, where I'm most unconscious. And I maintain my awareness and focus there until that's exactly where I wake up. I wake up exactly where I'm in the experience of what I could never confront before, and that is everything I've been that I wanted to pretend I wasn't. You can't be free if you run away from your past and pretend it didn't happen. But you can't be free from your past by knowing that it happened and being okay with it having gone the way that it did. Because now you're going to choose so much better. You're not going to punish yourself for the past because you're going to take such a quantum leap in awakening and awareness that the new you will be something that didn't exist before, and so can't be punished for your past behaviors. You know, is that completely true? I don't know, but I think it is. If you wake up enough, then everything is handled. You know, everything that you do is effective. And you want to be more than that. You want to be able to actually dance with reality. You want to be able to share an experience of awakened consciousness with everyone you meet. And so you have to see that as your experience of this reality. And as other people walk into your presence, you just have to notice that they want to share with you on that level. They'd love for the divine to speak through them. They'd love for the new Buddha to be the experience of themselves in their consciousness, in their own body. So be willing to let that happen for the people that you meet. Exactly when you meet them, no prerequisites. Their fondest dreams for their own awakening, their own realization, and their own conscious free expression. You get to experience their realization of those dreams with them. Awaken and be there when others choose to be free. Hmm. That feels a lot better for me. I left quite a load of what I was before behind. So you can do that consciously, choosing step by step to surrender and release. Or you can actually surrender and allow it to be done to you as quickly as you allow it, with no work, no effort on yourself, just with your willingness to experience it happening. Now, how does the transformation experience as quickly as you are willing to allow it to happen? Well, then it must just simply be revealing, like moving a curtain, something something that's all was already there, that already existed, was already true. So instantaneous transformations and realizations and awakenings are created. That was already what was real and true about you. The previous experience was just pretend. So do you want to hold on to pretend, or do you want to experience what your own awakening is? Boy, it'd be a great thing if we could choose for our experience of awakening. Wouldn't that be a great thing? It truly would. It is. I've taken a peek through the keyhole. Found out the door was already open. It was a keyhole, it wasn't a lock. The door always opens as you let it. Allow yourself to be embraced by the universe. Allow the universe to open itself to you, and open yourself to it. There's no other way to be a universal you or a universal truth unless the universe is embraced by you as you receive it. Boy, that one was tough for me. So you give it time to harmonize. You allow the radiance to radiate. You do it nicely. It's a nice invitation to that which has been dark or lost, or light and lost, you know. Whatever over identified became the object too much. Allow the Creator to reform you, to reframe your reality, to have free movement in your body. Do you think the Creator of the universe, if you allowed the Creator of the universe free movement in your body to retrain, reform, re-educate, acclimate the body to divine presence? Do you think the result would be good for you? If you're uncomfortable with the word divine presence, let's just say that we all know there's been extraordinary consciousnesses here. You know, dozens or hundreds or thousands at a time, maybe millions at a time here on Earth. But the point is there's truly peaks of awareness and focus that are beyond by quantum leaps what's normal here. So whether you believe in God or not, just allow yourself to join the best that's ever been where they are. The best that's ever been will always welcome you to join them. If you allow yourself to be as they are, you have to let it happen to you. You can't take enough action to make it happen for yourself. You have to let it happen. You have to let it be done to you. It's so tempting to try to be in control of your own awakening, your own enlightenment, your own unfolding, but you can't. It happens as normally and naturally as a flower opening to the sun. You know, if you just allow yourself to be moved by that which is beautiful and graceful and loving. Ah, wow. So take this time when I'm not talking and allow whatever's sublime to have its way with you. Open up, allow it to embrace you, allow it to radiate you with everything that you consider sublime to be. Well, it's quite a opening for me. A lot of places where I was stuck took a breath finally. Not that this is any particular important or pivotal moment, but even though it's not, it is. It's important that you open as often as you think to do so, and each time you do, it was the right move. So allow yourself to be acted upon. And allow that experience of being acted upon to be an awakening into the sublime experience of your own beautiful nature. Well, it's such a relief. You still awake over there? Hmm. Hmm. So, is there anything else that needs to be said? You choose to open, you open. You let yourself experience whatever happens. You let it be done on the right, correct gradient so that it's a pleasurable opening. You know, you don't have to do it instantaneously if it's a little bit too much discomfort for you. Just let it happen continuously at, a, at the perfect pace in a beautiful way. Hmm. Hmm. Don't try to force it. Don't try to enhance it. Don't try to direct it or impede it. Just allow yourself to be acted upon by something that loves you unconditionally, supports your free expression and open awareness and consciousness. Allow that which is free to free you. Just don't say no. I have a habit of saying no all the time to that which is good for me. I think I'm going to start saying yes. More, yes, please. Okay, yeah, more. And you let it happen. You let more happen. More flow, more consciousness, more freedom, more awareness. More wisdom moving as you. Now the funny thing is that at the end of this experience, you awaken as yourself. You keep thinking you're cheating by allowing it to be done to you, but when you are a pretense of your own truth, then let your truth save you and set you free from your self-diminishment. It's your truth. It's your knowing. It's your awakening. It's your self-realization that saves you. So save yourself by saying yes to yourself. Yes to your self's realization. Oh my God, that's hard, isn't it? Oh my God, is it going to be free? Is it going to be horrible? Is it going to be terrible? Is it going to be fought against? Is it going to be disapproved of? Not if you really do it. Allow yourself to be free and find out. Your self-realization is what sets you free. The essence of your own eternal truth, awakened within the body, is the experience that you want and the freedom that you seek. So just like I let the words come out without thought, without planning, you allow what your experience of yourself is to be an experience of transformation from one thing to another, from what was into what could be. Process of choosing better for yourself and then letting it happen. It's okay to move without a plan. And it's okay to wait until you're moved by grace. And then allow grace to move you without a plan. No plan other than each experience is going to be a beautiful one, to be the perfect one for the circumstance. Ah, my chest just opened. That's great. You got any questions, Mike?
Right now,
Okay, well, that was a pretty short one. But, I think that's everything we needed to say. So, um,
it all makes sense, but I still keep. Well, I've got to make it happen, right?
you got to let it happen. You make it happen by letting it happen. Do you think that what you want is something the world should fight against? Not instantly say, oh my God, what a beautiful idea. Let's do it. Right? Let yourself receive that shift. Or reality goes, oh yeah, exactly what you say, exactly what you want. It's going to be so great for everybody. So just let what you say and what you want actually be what would be so great for everybody. Nobody unblessed, nobody harmed in the process. Everything better for everybody because everyone begins to choose better for themselves and each other. That reality shift begins with your choice. It begins with your willingness to open And in that opening, your willingness to be acted upon by the infinite, by the eternal, by the sublime, by the grace of wholeness. So allow the grace of wholeness, the wholeness of you, permission to make you into something goddamn magnificent. Said it that way so you'd remember it, not so you'd think it was inappropriate. Just like the nuns, be the bride of Christ, be the son of Buddha, be the father of Buddha, be the brother, be the sister, be the mother. And whoever else it might be that holds that identity of divinity for you. Let it come through. Anything that's whole and full of truth is in support of your desire to be free, to choose to experience ecstasy, to know joy as your experience of self. So know that as you choose for joy to be you, you have a universal universe of wholeness supporting you in that choice. The wholeness of you, the fullness of you, the holiness of you, the completion, the realization, the radiance, the radiance of you. Notice the radiance within your body. It's there. Focus on that. Notice that as you focus on that divine radiance within your own heart, that the rest of you can't help surrendering. By surrendering, we mean irresistibly opening to go, finally home again. That's what you feel when somebody's divinely awakened, when somebody's universally whole and complete. You feel that, your brother, your sister, your mother, your God, your son and daughter are whole and fully there with you. So it's okay for wholeness for you. It's okay for fullness. It's okay for completion. It's okay for understanding. It's okay for knowing. It's okay for you to end your limitations. Your limitations of consciousness, of knowing, of being, of seeing, of understanding, and of expressing. And your limitations of self-expression. Express yourself, beautifully in every possible way, in every way that you're inspired to. Full, free, divine. I like the word divine, and so, but I don't want to say it where it limits somebody else's choice in choosing the very best for themselves. So Consider the possibility that the very best consciousnesses earned their way to that by letting it happen for them, by willing to open and receive. That might have been how they did it. I think it was. I think you should open and let it happen to you. And I'll do the same thing for me. Choose to receive as gratefully as I can. So don't just receive, receive with gratitude. Everything you feel. That's what redeems it. Being grateful for the experience of the moment. Well, that's getting pretty good for me. So thanks for letting me do this because, as you know, if you wouldn't have let me do this, I would have done nothing. And this is something that, you know, I have to do. And so thank you for your permission for letting me. And to anyone watching, you know, this is for you to know what seemed to work for someone else. You know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But you know, so far, this is good for me. It's a continual awakening. It's a continual expansion. It's a continual movement into mm, kind of a feeling of redemption. You know, of being forgiven, of being released from life that's been you know had a lot of trauma and pain. So thanks for going for a little journey with me, and if you can use any part of it for your own invitation to freely allow and freely express for yourself, then God bless you. I want to be there to see it. I want to be there to see that awakening into a celebration of all life and all consciousness. One that is real and true and profound and contagious. The virus of bliss and the bliss of you is the truth that sets you free. The blissful self-realization of the infinite, complete, and wholeness of yourself. So on that note, I'll say good night. Thank you.